She never wanted to be seen. Hidden beneath a faded gray hoodie, Ariel Monroe moved through Crescent Ridge High like a rumor no one quite remembered, silent, invisible, almost forgettable. You know what I mean? That was the point. But when a cruel joke crossed the line and a piece of her past snapped awake, the girl nobody noticed became the storm nobody saw coming. This is not a story about revenge. It's about restraint, about rising up when the world expects you to stay down. It begins with a girl who swore she'd never fight again until she was left with no other choice. Ariel mastered invisibility before she was 16. She drifted through school, head low, hoodie tight, hands buried deep in her pockets, black sneakers barely whispering against polished floors. Kids passed her every day, some sneered, most ignored. Not one could tell you what her voice sounded like. That suited her just fine. Her part of Spring Hollow was the kind people forgot existed, where porch paint peeled and car alarms sang at midnight, and her mom came home from hospital shifts with tired eyes and blood on her shoes, someone else's blood. Her scholarship to Crescent Ridge was the kind people whispered about, diversity optics, publicity pick. Ariel didn't flinch, heard worse in the old school locker rooms, usually from people whose fists landed before their words. But Crescent Ridge was different, shinier, colder, the air humming with eucalyptus and privilege, the students polished and wary, teachers smiling too long, girls in cliques, boys looking at her like her presence was a glitch in their system. So she wore her hoodie like armor, spoke only when called, ate lunch under the bleachers, hid in the library shadows. But beneath the silence, something else waited, a shadow twisted tight around memory. Because 5 years ago, in another school, Ariel Monroe had broken someone. It was her friend Tasha, screaming as two boys cornered her by the vending machine. Ariel stepped in just as her father taught her. A clean move, shoulder redirect, twist, drop. But Tasha's shoulder popped. The sound was sickening. Tasha's fear, not gratitude, was what stayed with Ariel. The principal called it excessive force. That night, Ariel's father, already sick, said quietly, "Strength is not the enemy. What you choose to do with it is everything." But Ariel folded her gloves, made a vow: no more fighting, no more risk. Her father passed away that summer. Since then, she'd lived by one rule: vanish. So when Crescent Ridge offered a seat among the elite, Ariel took it not to shine, but because her mother needed her to rise. The school gave her a laptop, a uniform, and a map. No one showed her where she belonged. 2 weeks in, during third period AP Lit, her school tablet buzzed. Partner assignments. Ariel Monroe Preston Whitmore. That name echoed in the halls. Preston, the mayor's son, captain, president, golden boy, the prince of Crescent Ridge. If he looked at you twice, it was either a blessing or a warning. Ariel felt neither, just terror at being seen. PE in the gym. Ariel lingered at the court's edge, hoodie zipped, hands pocketed. Laughter echoed, a trio of boys, sneakers spotless, futures laid out. In the center, Preston. The air shifted when he entered, his presence electric. Coach Darnell's whistle cut through. Pair up. Preston read the board, smirked, walked right up. "Looks like I drew the lamb," he said, soft enough for his friends to snicker. Ariel didn't answer. She moved past him, quiet, fluid, like water avoiding stone. Jamie Tran caught up warm eyes. Steady voice offered to swap partners, but Ariel shook her head. "I'll manage." Preston waited on the mat, showboating, jabbing. "You stretch much, ghost girl? Or is this your first time touching the floor on purpose?" She removed her shoes with care. Her silence was a shield. Coach Darnell clapped. 5-round push-ups, sit-ups, core drills. Preston's form was flawless, his pace aggressive, each rep a challenge. "Your turn," he barked. Ariel moved every push-up precise, controlled. By the 15th, Preston's smirk had thinned. He pressed, baiting her about YouTube videos, her father. Her hands trembled, but she stayed silent. At the 20th push-up, she paused. "Thought so," Preston muttered. "Charity case. Diversity handout." Ariel felt something coil inside her, but she held it back. Lions don't need to roar. He whispered, "Lambs just wait to be eaten." During the medicine ball drill, his thumb lingered a second too long when he passed her the bala test, a taunt. She answered with a gentle squeeze to his wrist knot pain, just a warning. For the first time, his mask slipped, but he wasn't done. It started with her locker jammed, handle loose, books overturned, gym shoes missing. Then came Ridge reveals, the anonymous social page secrets twisted into weapons. A grainy photo appeared. Her in the locker room, changing, unaware. Hoodie off. Secrets out. The comments bloomed with poison. Ariel saw the post in the library and nearly vanished into her chair. Her hoodie felt paper thin. She didn't cry, but something inside her folded up. That afternoon, she passed Preston in the hallway, his smile curling with satisfaction. Coach Darnell noticed her fading, adjusted her stance, offered water, but mostly just watched, waiting for her to come back to herself. Rumors spread about her past, her fighting, her obsessions. Preston thrived, all public charm and private cruelty. At home, Ariel's mom packed lunch with trembling hands. That day in the cafeteria, Preston lifted her lunchbox, mocking her food, dropping it to the floor, apple slices rolling like coins. Ariel picked it up, not from fear but restraint. A teacher walked by, saw, and looked away. After the bell, avoiding algebra, Ariel took a quiet hallway empty, or so she thought. Preston and his friends blocked her way, casual but calculated. Words landed like knives, "You don't belong here." She tried to step past, but Preston stopped her, said he wanted to test her reflexes. His hand shot out, open palm pressed her chest. The world froze. Her training was dust. She didn't move, didn't strike, just stared paralyzed. Blake laughed. Landon jeered, but then click a phone recording. Jamie stood at the edge, camera rolling, face tight with anger. Preston faltered. The spell broke. Ariel backed away, leaving the boys and the moment behind. In the old community center, alone, Ariel faced the mirror. Practicing forms her father taught her block, pivot breath. But her stance broke, memory overtook her, and she fell to her knees, crying quietly, not from weakness but relief and loss. Jamie outside texted, "I saw what he did. It wasn't your fault." For the first time, Ariel felt seen. The next day, Preston tried to humiliate her again in gym. He faked a stumble, pressed in her chest in front of everyone. This time, Ariel caught his wrist, locked his arm, redirected his momentum. The gym went silent. Preston lunged, fist half raised, but Coach Darnell's whistle cut through. Campus security rushed in. Preston played the victim, but Coach Darnell told the truth. She had shown more control in 3 seconds than he had all year. The footage was reviewed by staff, the principal, Preston's influential father. But evidence video, witness statements, Blake's confession painted a clear picture. Preston had targeted Ariel for months. His mother, the district attorney, faced him down. "You did it. You lied to me." For the first time, Preston looked ashamed. The story went viral Reddit, hashtags, news crews at the school gate. Jamie's video, posted anonymously, spread nationwide. Alumni spoke out about Preston's history of cruelty. The wall of silence cracked. At a school hearing, evidence cleared Ariel of wrongdoing. Preston was suspended. Ariel was invited to help build a new self-defense curriculum. For once, she had a seat at the table, a voice, a role. She accepted not for the spotlight, but because it meant no other girl would have to go it alone. The halls at Crescent Ridge changed. Respect replaced exclusion. Notes of thanks appeared in her locker. She became a student leader, her name in bold on the office board. In the gym, she led classes for girls who were tired of being afraid. "We don't train to fight," she told them. "We train to stand." Her hands adjusted shoulders, steadied breath, passed strength on like a torch. Coach Darnell approved the new curriculum, Ariel's signature next to his. A new headline, From Ghost to Guardian. Ariel Monroe, once invisible, now stood as proof that strength could be quiet, power could be choice, and survival wasn't about fists, but presence. In the end, there was no grand victory, just a stillness, a ripple moving outward from one girl who refused to disappear, echoing through hallways and hearts. Not every story needs a champion who shouts. Sometimes the loudest victory is simply not vanishing. So, if Ariel's story reminds you of a friend, a memory, or a time you wish someone stood by your side, let live beyond this screen. Share your thoughts below. Your voice might be the one someone else needs to hear. And if you want more stories of quiet courage and truth rising from silence, stay tuned. Sometimes the world doesn't need more noise, just more people brave enough to be still and strong enough to remain when no one is watching.